this is we are doing this not on behalf of just ourselves, but our population. This country's been divided for a very long time, and we want to do things not just for ourselves, but for everyone. And if anyone goes and looks up our list of our demands, that they can see what we're representing, like getting rid of IH2 for everyone. You know, no one deserves to have to pay a tax on death of a loved one. That's something that we hold dear to ourselves. But going to the next step, yes, something's got to happen. Unfortunately, from the protest back then, the rules have been changed, which means we've got to be better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, farmers have still got to go to work the next day. There's a lot of farmers out there that aren't sure. Everyone's telling us and briefing people in a bad way against us when we've been doing everything to the letter of the law and doing things the right way.
OK, Justin, we'll leave it there for now. Bring in my panel. And in fact, on that point, Nigel Farage did say today that he meant reform will end inheritance tax, end of, not just on farmers. Bring in my panel now. Start with you, Dr. Tessa Dunlop. Who could not want to back the farmers, particularly the smallholders out there who feel that multi-generational farms have been split up by government?
Just to disclose my hand, my father was a factor. So we lived in a tied house all my life. We worked for a laird. And Dad was at the top of the food chain of employees. Everyone beneath him, therefore, was paid less than him. All of them got their house or their accommodation when they worked on the farm. But then once you were 65, you'd been a manual worker all your life, you hadn't earned enough money. Where did you live? Where did you go? So the idea that these are poor farmers, all of them, you know, just managing on their own in a small hold, it isn't true. We're actually talking about large businesses which are able to hog land and property for as far as the eye can see in large swathes of Scotland.
I think the farmers agree that those people
we're hearing one
perhaps
narrative here, so I'm providing balance.
But I think the farmers agree, am I not right in saying, that those people should be targeted, means tested, but at the moment it's a blunderbuss that gets even the smallholders.
So is your issue the threshold? Because you've just said you don't want any inheritance taxes. I think actually people like the said Lenham, he's a very decent man in his own way. But why should he own 42 properties and 40,000 acres without taxation?
If you want to target those at the top echelon, find another way. An inheritance tax or a death tax is the wrong way to do it for everyone. You know,
it's not for all. It's only for those people who own excessive numbers of assets.
What Justin is saying is inheritance tax in itself is immoral, is wrong.
It's immoral.
Not just on farmers, on anybody.
But the problem is, what it does
People
is
have paid tax on that once, it's taxing again.
But it's a very tiny percentage of the population that actually have to pay inheritance tax. You get away with about £1 million under the wire once you've got his and hers and property combined. There's about £1 million worth of assets that don't get taxed. So what you're talking about is protecting those people with wealth over £1 million. That's about
those people by and large, because of better accountancy than the rest of us can afford, those people by and large avoid much of that tax anyhow, and that's legal and reasonable.
About, given that those under £1 million quid aren't going to be taxed, and those over £1 million
but they are.
If you want to tax someone's higher wealth estate, find another way. Taxing someone on death is morally wrong.
And it's fair to point out that the United Kingdom is something of an outlier when it comes to inheritance tax across continental Europe, and particularly in even liberal societies such as Australia and New Zealand. A lot of countries don't have a death tax. And you're right, a small percentile play it, but increasingly, a lot of asset-rich people without a lot of money, like pensioners, particularly who live in London or the home counties, find their houses.
Lots of rich pensioners. Don't confuse
But equally, don't say that everybody's rich. It doesn't. You're basically saying, I don't like rich people. I just want to tax rich people.
No, I'm not saying I don't like rich people.
They should take hits left, right and centre. They're paying higher taxes on their income already. Yes. They then pay... And then, when they invest that income in a house, they then pay, and maybe pass it on when they die, they're paying extra taxes on that. You've got capital gains tax. You've got a whole series of taxes. But I think, going back to today's event, one of the things I thought was very interesting, and you talk about Unite and all the rest of it, the last two events, it was all about inheritance tax, no farmers, no food. All the banners, all the posters, all the tractors, same. Starmer, Farmer, Harmer and things of this sort. This time, I noticed stuff on the tractors talking about winter fuel allowance. I noticed stuff talking about net zero. And what you're starting to see is the farmers are uniting with other people who are having a horrid torrid time from this government. And if I was Starmer, if I was Reeves, I could ignore the farmers. There's only a few of you. However, if that starts to grow into a unified group of people, all of whom feel that they've been crushed by this government, then if I was Starmer, I'd be very worried.
I would like to ask Justin very quickly, because I don't believe they're going to make, all the evidence shows they're not going to make much money out of this levy,
Yes.
this inheritance tax levy. I think it's about control. They will give you money back if they can control environmentally how you manage your farms. Would you agree with that? They want to control you.
I think they want to control all of us. I don't think it's just us. I think it's everyone. And I think that the agriculture community is the last ones that can make a serious stand. They put all sorts of implications on truckers to stop them protesting. We're the last ones that can't really be, we haven't towed the line completely yet. And we've identified that we make up there's only 213,000 farms, I think, approximately in the UK, which is 0.06 or 7% of our population, right? We need help, which means we need to not just represent ourselves, we need to represent our country. And if the people, the public, understand that we know how much we're paid and we know how you guys are being paid, or you guys at the shop are paying 200 to 300% more for your food than we're getting, that percentage is getting lost in an industry somewhere. We're suffering, you and the whole public are suffering. So the only way we can battle this and change is we all work together. And we've put our arms out to the military.
The veterans.
Yeah, the veterans. We're willing to work with them. We're willing to help the general public. We need our farms and our livelihoods saved, because everyone says, oh, farms got lots of money. It's only valuable if you want to sell it.